Georgia football just got so much good news as we begin a day that Georgia fans have had circled for a while now, and we got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Georgia Football 365. If you are a Georgia Bulldogs fan, please hit that subscribe button. Only 6.2% of viewers are subscribed to the channel, and it really helps me out a ton. But let's jump right into what we got for today, because today is the morning of Friday, July 31st, which means today at 6 p.m., Seth Williams will be announcing his commitment, whether he will be joining the Georgia Bulldogs or another program. Over the past couple weeks, we've been talking about how he is one of the top targets for Georgia at the defensive back position, but unfortunately, he has carried a crystal ball prediction to land with the Clemson Tigers. However, I told everyone who was willing to listen that crystal ball was not as strong as a usual crystal ball would be, and behind the scenes, Georgia was pretty close to a 50-50 in this recruitment. We laid Clemson about at a 55% to Georgia's 45%. Well, we just got great news as there has been another crystal ball prediction laid down late last night that actually predicted Seth Williams to the Georgia Bulldogs. A lot of the time when we get a very late change in recruitment like this, less than 24 hours before the actual announcement happens, that means the newest update is usually much more accurate than that original update. But when we look at this crystal ball prediction, it is now split between Clemson and Georgia. We can see the Clemson prediction coming in almost a month ago, or I should say almost 2 months ago, on June 11th of 2026, where we can see a couple days ago only July 28th at 9:16 p.m. did the Georgia crystal ball come out for Seth Williams. That prediction being laid down by Benjamin Wolk, who hasn't laid down a ton of predictions, only 39 total predictions, but he's 38 for 39, which is a very high hit rate. In fact, a 97.44% hit rate. So we are expecting Seth Williams to be committing to Georgia today, but it is still up in the air. But this would be a huge pickup for Georgia. Number one reason why it would be a big time pickup is because Seth Williams is a great player. We're going to dive into his ratings and rankings in a second here. But right now, if you are paying close attention to Georgia football recruitment for the class of 2027, you would know that we currently only have one defensive back committed. Kirby Smart as an ex-defensive back. Not sure how that happens in late July, but we're going to roll with it. We're going to try to pick up someone else here. So right now, Adrian Cole, only defensive back, a safety committed in 2027. He's a beast, but we need a little bit more than that. Seth Williams, we hope, is going to be adding to the more than that. As a 6'2", 180-pound safety from Atlanta. He is rated a 4-star and a 90 overall by 24/7 Sports, ranked as the 19th best safety in the 2027 recruiting class and 19th best player in the state of Georgia. The other recruiting outlets are a bit lower on Williams when we look at our 24/7 Sports composite grade, which is the consensus between the other recruiting outlets. They have him ranked at 409th in the entire class of 2027, 37th best safety and 45th best recruit in the state of Georgia. If you want to remain an elite program, you got to dominate recruitment in your own state. And this is a recruitment that Georgia certainly will want to win. 6 p.m. today, we will be getting that information on where Seth Williams will be committing. But we do have some more updates here. And the next good news that Georgia is going to get is going to be on Kameron McGee. He's a 6'4", 245-pound edge rusher from Chicago, Illinois, currently attending Powerhouse Football School Brother Rice in Chicago. Now, one of the updates that 24/7 Sports is pushing is McGee was just updated to their number one recruit in the entire country. So congratulations to McGee. That's a very, very impressive distinction for him. But there's a more important update for Georgia fans specifically, and that update comes from 24/7 Sports insider Tom Loy. He writes, "I would say that Georgia and Oregon have done a tremendous job of separating themselves from the pack." And he is, of course, referring to the recruitment of Kameron McGee. There are a bunch of top schools going after McGee, as what's always going to happen when you're a top 25 player consensus. But Georgia and Oregon right now are seen as the top two frontrunners to land McGee, who possibly could be the number one player in 2025. Now, We can look at the composite grade, ranked 25th best player in the country. 24/7 Sports has him as the number 1 player in the country. You can put him wherever you want, but what you cannot say, or what you can't deny, is this is a fantastic player and someone that Georgia is going to want to continue to build momentum with. We have the scouting report written up by 24/7 Sports Director of Scouting Andrew Ivins, speaking on what makes McGee such a fantastic football player. First of all, we have a reminds me of us of box here, and he is being comped to Bradley Chubb, currently of the Miami Dolphins, formerly of the Denver Broncos, former NC State Wolfpack first-round pick, a monster NFL player. If you want to be developed and go to the NFL in the first round and be very good in the NFL as an edge rusher or an outside linebacker or a defensive lineman, Georgia Bulldogs are a fantastic choice. You can also compete for national championships while you're here. Don't forget about that. But what Andrew Ivins writes here, destructive edge rusher with best-in-breed type of traits. Love to see that. You can't teach the traits. You can only develop them. So if you want to turn high-level recruits into monsters, you got to recruit those traits. Played some wide receiver as a youngster before emerging as an absolute force on the corner, totaling 21 tackles for a loss and 10.5 sacks during his sophomore campaign. Relentless with his approach, attacks blocks with a wide base, can dart inside or outside with his bouncy feet and dip underneath tackles, advanced with his hands and has the power to fight through gaps, closes with elite speed and has the range to constrain both play side and backside, and on top of all that, athletic enough to drop on the occasion. So what do we want to break down here? First of all, we see can dart inside or outside. That's actually not what I want to talk about. So played some wide receiver. This is a player that has played multiple positions, as a lot of these top recruits do, even if they're playing for high school football powerhouses. When you're a 5-star recruit, you're going to be the best player on the team 95% of the time. You're likely going to be playing both offense and defense, a lot of different positions. The reason why we love playing different positions along with playing other sports is you learn different skills, you put yourself in different positions. Overall, you just learn how to be a more well-rounded athlete, and that's can lead you to have a higher ceiling as an athlete. Next point here, advanced with the hands and has the power to fight through gaps. I want to talk about this first one, advanced with the hands. A lot of top recruits, you need to either pick, or maybe not top recruits, but just recruits in general. When it comes to defensive linemen, you need to pick either the traits, like the height, weight, athleticism stuff, or someone that has the skills, like the hand fighting, the pass rush moves. But McGee is a very scary combination of both of those things. We can see here advanced hands, so he has the skills and the technique is the word I've been looking for this whole video, to be a fantastic edge rusher, while at the same time closes with elite speed, athletic enough to drop on occasion. So not only is he 6'4", 245, he has elite speed, athletic enough to drop, great technique. This is a fantastic player. Would not be surprised at all if when we get closer to 2028, the composite rankings are updated and these other recruiting services fall closer in line to where 24/7 Sports has McGee as the number 1 rated recruit in the country. So Georgia in line, in a great spot, still far away, but in a great spot to land an absolute monster here in Kameron McGee. Let's talk about 2 other names that we need to make sure they are on our radar, as we are getting word of some other top 2028 prospects that the Georgia Bulldogs are currently targeting. First name is going to be another edge rusher in Antonio Thomas Jr. Edge, 6'3", 240 pounds, from Carrollwood Day School in Tampa, Florida. Rated a 4-star by 24/7 Sports and a 93 overall. Thomas is ranked as the 14th best player in the entire class of 2028, 4th best edge, and 4th best player in the state of Florida. The consensus is essentially the same numbers across the board, right on par there with 24/7 Sports' ratings. Now, just put Antonio Thomas on your radar. He's going to be someone that Georgia is going to be pursuing heavily. Another name that Georgia is going to be pursuing heavily, the name sort of sounds like it was created in year 2038 of your NCAA college football, randomly generated player name. This is Nation Farmer a top offensive tackle recruit in the class of 2028. Offensive tackle, 6 feet 4.5 inches tall, 303 pounds, rated a 4-star by 24/7 Sports, and a top 50 player in the country. Another name that we have to be paying attention to. Not a very forgettable name there. You hear the name Nation Farmer. If anyone says that name again, you're going to know you heard of this guy. So we don't need to dive too deep into his profile. Comes from IMG. Just know the Georgia Bulldogs are also going to be in on this recruitment. Highly motivated in this recruitment. So be prepared to hear more updates on Nation Farmer as we get closer to that 2028 class. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Go Dogs!